snippet of their lives. This first woman impressed me so much that I almost tackled her after hearing her speak and said, "You got to come to LEAP, you got to come to LEAP, you got to come to LEAP." I don't know any single person who does more than this woman does. I'm going to give you like a little glimpse of what she does. This is, you know, the saying, the tip of the iceberg, and the bottom part of the iceberg is humongous. Some entrepreneurs are born to innovate and change the world. Some are compelled out of necessity. The rest continuously learn and reinvent. Dr. Sabrina Kay is a unique combination that embodies all three. As a serial entrepreneur, she started 7 significant enterprises, ranging from accredited universities. She started a university, you guys, 2 of them actually, to a commercial bank, to a world-renowned fashion company. She successfully sold 3 companies for billions and billions of dollars, well, millions and millions, maybe billions, I don't know, she'll tell you. And was able to retire many times over, but she doesn't. She has 4 graduate degrees, 2 master's degrees, and 2 PhDs. You think she learned a little? From Ivy League schools, including an MBA from USC. Despite so much of her professional success, the aspect of her that I love the most is her zeal for giving back and being philanthropic and working with kids like you. Let's give it up for Dr. Sabrina Kay.
So how does that get started?
The green one. The clicker is not clicking. Let them load first.
So
We okay?
good afternoon. Hi. How's it going so far? Good. Good? So are you guys having fun? Yes. So I'm so honored to be here, and I'm sure you heard this like all week. You are the inspiration. You are the hope and future, right? Everyone tells you you will be whatever you can be when you put your mind to it. Is that right? Do you think it's really true? Is there part of you a little bit scared? Is there part of you wondering, how am I going to get there? Okay, that's what we want to talk about, because my journey was very different than a lot of people. So we're going to talk a little bit about how I got here, and then hopefully give you a framework of write your own story. So I grew up in South Korea by a tiger mom. So anything that you've heard about tiger mom was my mother. I was not allowed to talk to any boys until I was 18 years old. So I talked to my brother, my dad, and my teachers, and that was it. And when I get an A-, my mom would come into the room and sleep on my bed. So I will not be able to go to sleep for a whole month until I get all A's. So out of 1,200 students, she always expected me to be number 1. And when I become number 2, that number 1 person either should die or I should be the number 1. So that was like her expectations. And when I turned 18 years old, my family decided to come to America. I was so excited because I was able to speak to the boys when I turned 18, but I didn't speak any English. So this is kind of like what happened when I talked to a boy. I got pregnant, got married in college, and had my daughter in Lena. Obviously, that was kind of a mistake, and I became a single mom. So my goal was to be able to buy a dozen donuts for my daughter because she loved donuts so much, but she always had to choose. I was working 3 jobs, and I was really desperate. I was reading a newspaper one day and saw a software coming into the fashion industry. So I did some research and decided to make a cold call to the software company. And I was lucky enough to actually get the president of the company on the phone. You know, it's like such a dumb luck. And when I went to see them, I told them that, well, I have a fashion background, and I am studying computer science. The reason why you're not selling these software is because you don't have anyone who knows how to use computer software. So software is really good, but there's no operator. So why don't I start a college for you? And I will produce thousands of graduates so that you can package them together with your software and sell a whole bunch of your software. He should have looked at me and probably said, "Are you crazy?" Right? But instead, he somehow saw the passion and conviction in my eyes and said, "Okay, I will donate about $1 million worth of software." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm in." So I started a college, and that was the humble beginning of Art Institute of Hollywood. So I was really young, didn't speak that much English, didn't have any business background. My tiger mom convinced my romantic dad to move in to raise my daughter so that I can work 24/7. I became a machine, 18 hours a day, 7 days a week. My parents were watching me, raising my daughter. I had a responsibility. I was working all the time. But it paid off. The college grew. We became one of the 4 top fashion colleges in the United States. And the publicly traded company came and asked me to sell the company called EDMC, and I became CEO of Special Projects. So we were able to incorporate all of the fashion programs into EDMC systems, and the entire project was sold to Goldman Sachs for $3.4 billion. So I retired, but I was still living with my parents. I was in my 30s. My tiger mom asked me every day why I don't have a job anymore. So I decided, okay, I'm gonna go back to school and kind of learn how I did what I did, because I had no idea. People asked me to come and speak about it, and I couldn't even talk about it because it happened. And I had no idea. I had no business language to explain it. During the first year at USC, I met my finance professor, and we started a commercial bank together. You know, while you're at it, right? Might as well. That was a disease that my mother gave me. While you're at it, might as well do more. So while I was studying, MBA program, I started also a charitable foundation and served on 21 charitable boards and civic boards. This time working 18 hours a day, 7 days of work, giving away money. Other people were calling me inspiration. I was lost, exhausted, and had no purpose. I didn't know what I was doing, but that was really kind of like a dark period of my life. And I started just seeking more and doing all of those with 4 companies and 21 boards. And I decided to commute to Los Angeles to Philadelphia to learn more about what's out there. And I found my salvation. We learn so differently. All of you will go home and either Google me and Google any of the speakers that you're interested in. So Google become your professor. And you don't take notes on notepads anymore in a larger setting. You're taking all the technology. And this technology is really changing the way we learn and we behave. So I wanted to create an institution that embodies how we learn in the future. So I bought Fremont College, came back in the first week of my doctorate program, and bought the college as a laboratory. First is to have a flipped classroom. All the learning is didactic online, and then you're coming in just like this to collaborate. That's the only reason why universities really matter anymore, because lectures can be learned for free, right? And degrees do not have to equate to 4 years and 120 units. Who says that's important? You learn what's really needed. So we need to unbundle the university so that you can learn exactly what you need. And the third is vertically integrated. Fremont College started all the businesses that we teach, because when you start as a freshman, we want our students to be professionals. It's the first day of school. So we have a digital marketing program and digital marketing agency. So students can work. When they graduate, they have a 4-year college degree and have a 4 years of agency experience. Same thing with our healthcare program. So 21st century education, I feel that enterprises and universities need to get married. And they can work together to give a real world experience and a real immersive experience to our students. We also bought Dale Carnegie franchise, which is like a 100-year-old corporate training program to modernize this brand into Fremont College for the 21st century education. So this is my story. This is my passion. I found it. I realized that I'm on this earth to be a teacher. And I didn't know that when I was going through all these. So how did I get here? How did I know that I am on this earth to teach? And I came up with some kind of a framework so that this talk can be meaningful for you. So here's a dot. When we're born, this is what we look like in the universe. But we encounter a lot of dots as we live. Okay. Whoops, I went through too many dots. Okay, but anyway, there were a lot of dots in the video, and I call this an elbow moment. Okay, so when you have an elbow moment, depending on where the elbow goes, think about this as eternity or infinity. Depending on small little move, you'll be at a completely different place, right? So that moment is every decision that you make in your life. Because when you're born, we have one thing in common. Whoever you are will take some kind of a journey of life, and we're all gonna get old and die. It's really depressing. And then why do you live if the end goal is to die, right? So how do we make our life more meaningful? And it is 168 hours in 1 week. We eat, go to sleep, and do our grooming, like taking showers and putting makeup on and sitting on traffic. Most chunk of our time actually is spent at work, about 30%. The rest is kind of like almost meaningless stuff for us to spend that 30% of our life to make it more meaningful. So if you find work or career that is meaningful for you, then your life can be actually very meaningful. Are you with me so far? Okay. So you've heard about this. Passion changes everything. What are you passionate about? Do you know what you're passionate about? So I need you to write it down every single day. Whether it's you're passionate about a dog, you're passionate about your friends, helping others. That qualitative study of dating you is a very, very important assignment for you to do starting today, right at this moment. But what does passion do? Passion is a really good starting point, but it's not an ending point. Let me give you an example. I love music. I'm a terrible singer, but I love singing and listening to music and everything else. If I decided to be a singer professionally, I would be very poor and possibly miserable, right? But I decided to choose something else as my career and use singing as a hobby. So I built a karaoke machine at home that's a state of the art, and it's amazing. And I have all the friends coming over singing with me. So that's a hobby. For a career, you need a passion, but you also need something you're really, really, really good at. It's not something that you're just good at, but you are so good that you're better than anyone else. So that's a talent, and it's a God-given talent. That's why it's called a gift. Okay. Again, write down what you're good at, because if you don't, sometimes you forget about what your talent is. If you're not sure, ask your parents, ask your friends, make a habit of asking people every single day what your talent is. What do you think I'm good at? Do you think I did a good job? You know, it sounds a little bit more self-absorbing, but it's very important for you to know and love yourself and give yourself credit when you do a good job, and write that down. The third is money. Money has such a bad rap. You know, we were told that money doesn't buy you happiness, money doesn't give you whatever, but money actually is not a bad thing. You know, you can choose to make money, but what distinguishes the difference between career and hobby is actually money. If you're really good at golf and you're passionate about golf, but you don't get paid to play golf and you have to pay to play golf, you're not a professional golfer. Do you understand that? Okay, so money is where you become a professional. So if you have a choice between getting paid $10,000 a year and getting paid $1 million a year, how many people want to get paid $10,000 a year? Okay, how many people want to get paid $1 million a year? Okay, this is kind of the same, like, you know, survey that I have anywhere in any group, and I get the same result. But why do not everyone have $1 million paycheck every single time they want to take $1 million? And that is because you don't have the passion or the talent and hard work to make the money. So money is, just to tell yourself, money is not a bad thing. It's a good thing because it becomes an enabler. It gives you a framework to get to where you need to go. But what's really important for you is the purpose in life. 2014 was really an incredible year for me because that was a year that I went to Coachella and I saw like what's possible. And you know, I realized that I want to be part of this youth, and that purpose is really, really important. That purpose becomes your calling. And here is the chart. You can put it in Google Doc, carry it around every single day, write down what your passion, what your talent, how you're going to make money, or is it going to make money? Is my passion and talent going to make money? And is this really fitting with my purpose in life? And if you do this qualitative study for a whole year, you will get to know yourself so much, and you will start dating yourself. This is the most crazy person I know, and probably the most admired entrepreneur in our lifetime. If you're a multi-billionaire and have a family with, you know, children and wife, and you know you're gonna die in a couple years, what would you do? Most people travel, spend time with the family, or take time to reflect. This guy worked as hard as he could, built a new facility, built new products, because he wanted to put a dent in the universe, and he did. So I want to leave you with my favorite TV commercial, and it's a Steve Jobs voice, because the professional voiceover never replaces the passion and conviction of the entrepreneur, and you'll hear his passion and conviction. And I want you to think about it. What can you do today to do something crazy that will put a dent in this universe for yourself?
Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.
Let's give it up for Dr. Sabrina Kay. So we've scheduled this section so you guys can do 5 minutes of Q&A with each of the 3 speakers. So can we grab a few microphones down there? And can you set the clock for me for 5 minutes, please? I love that tiger slide. It's beautiful. Anybody have any questions?
When you were first starting like your college, how did you approach the big CEO about it?
Oh, for the computer company, I really literally made a cold call. And someone answered the phone, and I said, I want to come and see the computer demonstration. The question is, how did approach the CEO? And when I went there, the president of the company was actually sitting there. And I said, can I talk to you? And he said, sure. So if you ask, you'll actually get it. You know, I saw the computer demonstration. All I wanted to just get in there and have an access. And when I got there, they said, oh, that's the founder of the company. And I'm like, I just went up to him and I said, can I talk to you for a second? And he looked at me and he goes, sure. So that's how the conversation started. But what's really important is I went in with a lot of research. I spoke with all the manufacturers in the fashion industry, and I knew everything about the company. I knew everything about the guy. So when I saw him, I knew what he looked like, what made him tick. I knew everything about him. And I knew why the company was struggling at that time and why they weren't selling the software. So, you know, that's really important that having the preparation in advance and have totally prepared for any opportunity that can come to you. That is really important. So thank you.
What's the most powerful word in the English language, you guys? How many of you are now, after going to LEAP, not afraid to ask? All of them. Awesome.
Hey Sabrina, thank you so much for that presentation.
Thank you.
I'm curious about, in your mind, what do you think the difference between purpose and calling is? I've struggled with that one for a while, and I'm curious to see you put purpose as a pillar to calling, and what do you think the difference is between the two?
I think purpose is what you feel the purpose is. So what satisfies you? So it's always a vantage point. So if you look at this remote control from this vantage point to this vantage point, it's a completely different look, right? So if you look at the purpose from your vantage point, why you are here, that's purpose. Calling is when you put all 4 pillars together, and it's the reason why God put you on this earth. And I'm not here to preach religion, but it's whoever your God is, why you are on this earth, and how you make the world a better place, and why your impact matters. When you're gone, this world will be a little bit of a different place because of your impact. That's your calling.
You had a question?
Hi. So you were talking about you were talking about the $10,000 job versus the $1 million job. And what if, for you personally, the $10,000 job is more fulfilling than the $1 million job?
That's the purpose that we're talking about. Money is one of the pillars. You need to get paid to be a professional, but at this point of my life, I don't need to get paid, and it's okay. But my father gave me such a wonderful advice when I was a teenager, and it was a book of essays of really beautiful stories of like O. Henry's, the comb and the watch of a wife and husband's love story. And in that book, he put, money doesn't buy you happiness, but poverty can kill happiness. So I think it's really important that you take care of yourself and your family first, so that you have no financial pressure that can prevent you from doing good things. But if you can do it without the money and that fulfills you, that is okay too. Money is just one of the measures, but it's not the ultimate measure of success.
Great. We have time for one more, right in the back. Yell it out.
You seem like you have an
I don't know how to date or go to nightclubs.
This is true. This is true. She's so shy, and she shouldn't be. I mean, she should go out there and rock it, but she's so shy.
I've been to nightclub once, and I was like, oh my God, it's not for me. And I really want to go, but I have no friends to go with.
That's not true. Ken's wife takes you. JP,
Oh,
can
I
I
know.
have the mic? Ken's wife has taken her out.
Yeah, to a gay nightclub. I mean, it was just too much on my face.
All right, let's give it up for Dr.
Thank
Sabrina
you.
Kay. And we have a little present for you here. This is a little plaque.
Thank you.
Come on up here.
Thank you.
You guys, Francois, can you get some photos for us?